All right. 1 week into the year, and we're in our first re-record session.
I'm about as angry as a hunchback at a limbo competition.
But this wasn't Will's fault. It was partly Will's fault, but I haven't brought that up yet. It was mostly my fault. Approaching the new year, I thought 2022, I'm thinking next level. I'm going to up my game. I'm going to bring it every time. But the thing about me is I don't have the right chemical makeup to bring it every time. I have the right makeup to think that thought. But when it comes to actually doing it, that is another story. So I was ready to bring the high octane last pod, and I only brought the high and not the octane.
Oh.
And even last week, there's a lot of editing to be done. And, you and me, sometimes we take some extra long pauses in between what we say. Now, there was some extra...
I was hoping you were going to pause right then, and I wasn't going to say anything either.
It wasn't... Well, that's it. It was a bad combination. You were tired last time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was not of sound mind. And I said I wasn't going to do that again, but I just love the chaos of it.
Oh, yeah.
That's a problem for me. It's the chaos that's entertaining. Like, everybody loves a good story.
Mm-hmm.
Laugh at a silly romantic comedy. Oh, ha, ha, ha. She bumped into the guy and now they're lovers. He, funny situation. Cackle.
Know, right.
But
Cameron Diaz.
But then there's something else that makes me laugh, and that's awkwardness and chaos energy.
Yeah.
And it's not worth it sometimes.
Right.
Because it's your own product. And as much as this is a silly thing, I want to do a good job. And last week was not a good job. And that was the first for 2022. And what I want to do is, maybe not this time, I'm just saying, I want to have, maybe this is something you and I can think about here. Production meeting.
I had production meeting notes.
I noticed that. And that's good. And I say we plan a couple episodes that we just plan and have that are like shareable, good. Hey, if you like this podcast and you want to share with your friends, it's hard to jump in always. I have a lot of podcasts, I have some podcasts like that I listen to where it's like half the things you don't know because you haven't listened from the beginning, and it's sort of
inside jokes.
Yeah. And it makes it kind of a bummer because you want to share or you want to whatever. And so I think I want to be mindful of that. I want to be mindful. I should just record some of these and just add them in, add them into the podcast.
Just listening to audio. I'm drinking.
What are you having?
Old fashioned Michael lemon vodka soda.
It's a little lemony now that I'm having it.
Maybe it wasn't mixed up well. But all I know is these coasters just stick to the bottom of the glass.
Anyways, I wanted to bring it for 2022, and I do want to do videos sometime this year. I'm working on my new Lappy. I got to get some more money. If anybody has some extra money laying around, just throw it my way.
Sponsor
the pod.
What do they call it? Like legacy sponsor or something like that? Where they like...
Oh, yeah. I was just at the hospital yesterday, and they had all the sponsor tiers.
Yeah. Stuff like that.
So the first would be like loser sponsor. The second tier be like, okay, you're cool. third tier friends, real friends. That's what that would be called. If you were below that, third tier, real friends, partners, and then legacy,
like Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
legacy extraordinaire. And over the I would put one of those accent marks to make it fancy. I would spell it in a fancy way.
AIRE.
Yeah, I would spell it in like a French way or something, so that people know it was like, oh, this is a big deal.
Legacy is spelled like ACE with the thing over the E or something.
So yeah, I wanted to bring it this year, but the chaos side of me won out.
Chrissy chaos.
You were tired, so it was like the worst combo of. It was me wanting to relinquish control,
and me just letting it happen,
and then Will having one sentence at a time of, thoughts to offer.
Yeah,
which was fine. Actually, it wasn't fine. That's why we're re-recording.
Yeah.
1 weekend.
It was fine for us if we were just having that conversation.
Exactly.
I want to offer up listener engagement. Ding, 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 ding. Listener engagement. This is listen up, folks. If you have a topic or thing that we've done in the past or something that we need to get back to that you liked, that you want more of, let us know. Trying to plan out, like I said, this year, the direction of the pod. Since no one ever comments anything, we want to know what you want to hear, the listener. So make sure to comment or send a message. Let us know what you like, what you want to hear more of.
Yeah, do that. Let's see. Wait, this tied into something that we were just talking about, and I don't know how it tied in. Oh, legacy sponsors.
Yeah.
We had an early sponsor of the podcast, and that was Prindle Ridge Farm.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a problem, which Prindle Ridge Farm does not exist anymore.
Right. We need new sweatshirts.
It's what is it?
Accidental
escapades?
Something like that. I thought it was just escapists.
Accidental escapes?
Escapades.
Escapades, not escapades. Let me type in escapades. Accidental.escapades. That sounds like OnlyFans or something.
Jeez.
No, Prindle Ridge Farm is not.
Escapades can have, like a negative connotation.
And so I think that maybe the jingles are cursed. So if you sponsor the pod, if you want to be, a jingle comes with any tier.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever I said, losers and real friends and legacy extraordinaire. Whatever tier you sponsor at, you get a jingle. And we'll come up with other stuff if there's more. But, so, Prindle Ridge Farm, early sponsor of the podcast, early partner.
Mm-hmm.
And now, they moved from animals to trees.
Mm-hmm.
Trees was the plan for like a day, I guess. And then now they're up and moving with Trump to Florida.
Trump.
In a fifth wheel. And
very nice. Probably the nicest fifth wheel I've ever seen in my entire life.
Crazy. Go to accidental.escapades.
A little nicer than my apartment.
Maybe. And yeah, Justin's going to be a handyman. They're going to have the kids in the bunk beds, I guess. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a tight fit.
Adventure.
They can do it.
Adventure is out there.
I think that it seems like everybody in the fam has the right kind of makeup to do that. You got to
She seemed more like a no makeup girl to me.
Oh, slapping my thigh. Anyways, yeah, 2022, that's what we're bringing. We're bringing curses. So if you want to sponsor the pod, you have to think that's going to be out there. But you could be the one to break the curse. I just wanted to put out a warning to Barbara San and Big Nate that your businesses could be failing in 2022.
Yeah. Speaking of slapping your thigh, did you hear about this? Kanye West is also, speaking of moving, Kanye West is planning a trip to Russia to meet with President Vladimir Putin and is going to hold one of his Sunday services to be his first show ever in the country. Our first song on the set list, N-Words in Moscow.
Oh.
You can bleep it if you want. Beep in Moscow.
Oh, yeah. That'd be good. Have you seen the TikTok?
Or just do beep buzz in Moscow.
Have you seen the kid trying to ask, like, Alexa, like, play the song, Kanye West song about guys in Paris?
Yeah.
That's fun.
Or seen one, it's like this is like a test. This pop quiz can, be half of your grade or whatever, like a midterm grade. And it's just one question and it says, who was in Paris?
Oh, that's good.
The two LAPD officers have been fired after they ignored a nearby robbery call and were caught searching for Pokemon on the Pokemon Go app. Turns out they were searching for a Snorlax nearby. Just another big guy that can't breathe. I guess gotta catch 'em all only applies to Pokemon, not fugitives.
Ooh. Got you. A Utah Tech bro. A Utah Tech leader, maybe. He sent an email to other influential leaders.
Is that Utah Tech the college or
no?
just
They call
Utah in general?
There's a nickname for it. Like there's a bunch of tech people there. I forget what it is. Silicon Slopes or something like that.
Ooh, are they in Park City?
I don't know. Post Malone lives up there and stuff.
Yeah.
He sent an email to other leaders, including the governor, saying Jews are euthanizing people with vaccines.
Oh boy.
Learn more about what Jews are up to in the Gringotts portion of A Return to Hogwarts, now streaming on HBO Max.
Little banking elves with big noses.
Do you remember this one? Because Will already heard these.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't remember the first part of that.
I'm going to import your laughter from the deleted episode. The Christian sect called 12 Tribes may have started the deadly Colorado fires from last week.
Oh, man.
Looks like somebody saved themselves from marriage because that sounds like some hot Christian sex.
12 of them.
12 tribes.
Wordplay.
That's what you said on the last one.
I do that when I listen to them in the car. I think of things to say and then I say them. And I'm like,
a better punchline.
My brain still thinks the same thing.
Oh, that is true. I do that too. So, anyways, last time we talked about New Year's resolution and actually... Oh, this will be my transition into New Year's resolution.
I don't remember anything I said.
I don't either. But that was different. I have one knee on the ground.
I know.
One knee on the ground.
On the ground.
I'm getting ready to take a T-ball picture.
Tim T-ball.
Actually, one thing from the last episode is I think, one thing about this podcast to transition that was interesting about the last episode is I felt like I didn't really have a lot of funny things. Not that this is the funniest podcast ever, because it's not. It's just us talking, but we don't talk too serious about too serious of topics.
Yeah.
And I just didn't have a lot of like funny things going on in my head, and that's okay. I'm not saying that's a bad thing or anything, but
Right.
when we sit down to record, sometimes I have to do this weird thing in my head and say like, okay, these are more of the lighthearted things I was thinking about this week, and these are more, and I'm going to sort of set aside the more serious things that have been on my mind this week.
Right.
Except in this case, I just had a lot of more serious things on my mind, and I didn't have a whole lot of lighthearted things bouncing around in my head. And so I think, partly it was bad on me for not like, not like this is a job, but doing a little bit of couple of steps to be like, okay, X, Y, and Z, these are some lighthearted things, because you're not always going to feel, whatever. But at the same time, I don't completely want to disregard some of the serious things I have to say.
Yeah, I think it's
because
good.
we've talked, not serious as in I'm going to be crying on the podcast or anything like that, but
maybe that's how we get more views.
But do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah.
Does that make
it's
sense?
A good balance of both and
yes,
being aware of it.
Yeah, so I think last time also when we were recording, that was a little bit of the trouble I was having, besides remembering
I feel like
how a sentence started.
When you just said I was thinking about what lighthearted or deep things I was thinking about this week, I feel like I don't even think about things during the week. Is that bad?
No.
Like if I ask myself that question, it's like, what have I been thinking about this week? I couldn't not tell you.
What's your self-talk, or like going through, people say like
Wake up in the morning,
you rehearse conversations.
You're
people
beautiful.
do that, so
you are successful. I am a man.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
What's my self-talk?
Yeah. Like, what do you, if you're on okay, let's say you're on a train, when you were on the train, or when you're in the yard,
right,
and you have an hour where you're just doing like mindless stuff. So you're moving from here to there, you're doing your work, and it's sort of, but it doesn't take all your concentration. What kind of thing, what do you think about?
I'm hyper focused on safety. To everyone listening. But those times where I'm not, moving trains or things like that, I don't know. I'm thinking about, what I've been thinking about a lot? The
sound like you're going into a joke.
Imminent crash of the stock market. For real. Like, I have a group that we used to meet up. We haven't been lately, and one person moved into an RV. But we would always try to talk about like economics and the stock market and success and wealth and life and stuff like that. And so I have been thinking about that a lot, because just with like the rising interest rates, the Chinese real estate market going bankrupt, and Omicron and all these different things. And so I think about that a lot. I think about housing investments, price of houses. Not the funnest, most exciting stuff to talk about.
That's normal. That's what I'm saying. It's like, that's all sort of normal thoughts. So if I come here to the podcast And yeah, I'm not saying anything serious as in like depression.
No, I know.
And
but when you
although
said
sometimes
what
I
I've
do
been
have those
thinking,
kind of-
what I've been thinking about this week, and I couldn't think about like what have I been thinking about this week?
yeah, I think I have the same sort of thing. It's like, oh, that's another thing. Last week on the podcast, it's like my mic was like down here away from.
Crotch mic. Yeah,
Yeah, it just wasn't as mindful, and that's okay.
I think about upcoming events a lot. I'm excited about this weekend. I'm seeing Shane Gillis on Friday.
Oh, you are?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude. Where at?
Tacoma.
Oh, at the TCC?
The TCC. My friend Eric got us tickets.
Nice. Thank you, Eric. Shout out to you.
Yeah,
Does he listen?
We'll put your Instagram up there. No, he doesn't. I don't think he listens.
Come on, Eric.
He is a friend that I met through Lauren. It's like one of the first friends from that side, which is kind of fun. So, I just thought of something I can't say on here. Bleep that out.
Great for podcasts.
Edit that out. Timestamp that. But yeah, I'm excited about that. End of the month, going down to Ventura, California for Real Dog Dudes of Dog shows.
It's coming up?
Yep.
Oh, wait. I was thinking about your Mexico trip. Mexico?
Oh, yeah, Mexico.
Are you still doing that?
Yeah, I still want to do that. That's not booked yet, but that's the plan. I just need to. Was that the deleted episode where I talked about I need to go through the reviews and I want the real reviews?
No, I think we talked about that before. That was a couple episodes ago.
Yeah.
But,
not.
I didn't know
yet.
you were going to California too, or else I forgot. But
Going there this month and next month.
Ventura
this month, next month back to Carlsbad.
Are you going to be able to see your friends?
Yeah, the next one in February. See Alex and Lydia and their new baby. That's really all I want to go.
Oh, baby fever.
Yeah. Because Lauren was like, I don't know if I'm going to go to that one. I might go to Oklahoma instead, or I forget, Puyallup instead. And I'm like, well, I'll probably still go because I want to see the baby. So sorry.
Sorry. Too bad.
Got to do me.
Oh yeah, I got to come to one time.
You can go
Catch a vibe.
You can go
Catch a
see
vibe.
her sister in Enumclaw
No, Doc. I don't want to.
this Saturday.
I don't want to see just. I don't want to.
No,
see
wait,
your
next
sister.
Saturday.
I want to see. You have to be there. And
You want to go to Portland next weekend?
No, I want to travel far.
Okay. Well, the next local,
Yeah,
I'll keep you in the loop.
exactly. Keep me in the loop. Get me to a close one, and we got to do your side of the story, my side of the story.
Yep.
Real Dog Dudes. I'll bring some brats.
Yeah.
Cook them up.
Do that.
How funny would that be to actually do that out in the parking lot or something?
Oh, no, it'd be great.
That'd be awesome.
Have a tent, have the cooler, barbecue.
Like the not the tent, the
just the awning
the
thing.
awning thing, yeah. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Throw someone through a table. Well, that's just
Bill's
Buffalo.
Mafia.
Yeah, Bill's Mafia.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think about that a lot.
Yeah, maybe you have stuff to look forward to. I was just thinking, as soon as you said that, I was thinking, I don't look forward to a lot of things. Not that I don't look forward to stuff, but I think I stew on like how to think about something or how something makes me feel. It's like, or like new information. And then I'm just chewing on like,
I think I usually, this isn't my favorite thing. And it didn't used to be like this when I worked on the road, but everybody's working for the weekend.
Oh yeah.
I don't like to be working for the weekend, I want to like enjoy myself the whole time.
Oh, because now that you're working in the yard a lot, it's sort of
it's
like
a 5-day schedule.
It's like a 5-day routine that doesn't really have like, it's not like you're going to Spokane, seeing some people there.
Yeah. There's
doing
there's
something
nothing
fun.
like exciting going on. Not exciting, but even just
Sorry
just,
for all the people he sees or talks to or FaceTimes during the week. You're not fun.
No. We have a good time. It's just
I know what you mean.
it's the same every day.
Yeah.
So the same scene, the same,
Yeah.
the episodes are all the same. It's Jerry's apartment.
I think that's like for me, I know it's kind of I've been joking about it, but going to Cambodia, it's like that was such like a big thing for me every summer. So it's like, and it would take like fundraising and stuff. So for 6 months of the year, it would like consume. So even if I was doing even if I didn't have a lot of small things, I still had this mountain peak kind of thing to look forward to. And when that sort of like rug got pulled out from under me, it was like, it actually has been a struggle to
Is that
sort
because of COVID?
No, it's
And
because
wife?
it's because I didn't get along with people, or people didn't get along with me. I don't really know. I don't
Sad
know.
Radish.
No, not Sad Radish. It has nothing to do with Sad Radish.
Give me a
It never
10-second update on Sad Radish.
I haven't talked to him in a while.
He's married now. That's what happens.
I know he's married. Doesn't comment.
They
He doesn't
disappeared.
text.
They disappeared.
He's too busy consummating. You know, when you're first married, you consummate a lot.
Getting to know her biblically.
And anyways,
Okay. Yeah.
but
I hear you.
anyways, yeah. The last thing I remember, I had an argument. Not argument. See, I love having a chit chat.
Yeah.
I love feeling strongly about something, even if I don't really.
Healthy debate.
Yes, and somebody was saying about Mike Pence it's like awesome that he's in the White House, and I was like, dude, this guy's
praying the gay away.
This guy's a pushover, and he's like selling his soul to be there. It's like he's not standing for anything; he's compromising everything he freaking believes in.
Yeah.
But I was doing that in the back of the bus, and some people take that as the other guy was getting heated. I wasn't getting heated.
Right.
I was just, but I probably was getting loud. And that's something I need to, reel it in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, it means nothing. When you're done with the conversation,
Yeah, you're not going to lose sleep over it.
I do not care about that person at all. No. But you know what I mean? But I think some people, the person who's in charge of Cambodia or whatever, is just like a nice...
Who's he?
Single.
Do they have
quiet,
a president or an emperor?
It's a lady. It's in Cambodia.
You said the person in charge of Cambodia.
No, the person in charge of the Cambodia trips.
Oh, okay.
Is like a sweet, quiet Midwestern single girl, and I think she just it's like scary boys.
Conflict.
Yeah, it's like no, we're just having a good time.
We're just debating like the men in the Roman baths.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, I'm not like a Midwest.
Those guys in the Roman baths were master debaters.
You know what I mean? Like quiet, like
yeah.
nice Midwestern Christian corn-fed kind of people. Yeah. They're all super nice. That's the whole thing about it. They're all super nice.
But then if any hair gets out of place.
Yes, and I'm not even that rough around the edges, but I mean to them I might as well be
Charles Manson.
I might as well be like taking my pants off in the bus and lighting my pubes on fire or something.
John Crowder.
It's like, yeah.
John Crowder? Is that right?
Yeah.
And then the singer is Josh Crowder.
Yeah. So, you fall out of favor. But yeah, actually that is hard. Not having a thing to look forward to. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
And so then...
So that's what I was actually feeling like I'm looking forward too much. I used to just laissez-faire.
Mm.
What's the other one?
Speaking of the market,
Seize the day.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was
Seize
more
the day
day-to-day entertainment as opposed to working for Fridays or whatever. Saturdays.
Carpe diem.
That's the one. Carping the DMs.
Yeah. I think that's why for me, I have. Okay, transition again.
Let's announce all the transitions.
I have tried to be more intentional about finding small creativity, small ways to be creative, or that's why this podcast I think is such a good thing for me, because even the small amount of editing I usually have to do for the podcast, it's not a lot. I just basically listen to it again and take out the one or two long pauses we have where we say, what are we going to talk about next?
Right.
And put in a couple things of music.
Yeah, I think I could use a creative outlet.
And so something like this, but sort of giving myself permission or finding little ways to like, or see a problem for me with like ADHD or apathy or whatever is like, then you think of a good idea that you want to do, but then you can't like get yourself up to like do it because it's not.
Oh yeah.
It's never the thing about ADHD. It messes with the reward center in your brain because it's a dopamine thing. And so how that works for me is nothing is ever worth it.
Right.
Nothing's ever worth the effort unless it's so exciting it short circuits that message.
Yeah.
And jumps over it. And then I get hype about it.
Yeah.
And so I've been trying to more intentionally, when I have that impulse to say like it's not worth it, to like, no, it is worth it, and hopefully build some momentum in things and small things. And so one of that is like I talked about a lot the last few months is music and wanting to get a new computer, wanting to get into music production and stuff like that.
Yep, definitely.
And I still will. And go ahead.
For me, even like jiu-jitsu, which I love and want to do and want to be better at, but like when that like time, like the hour before class, I am in a constant fight of like wanting to go or not. And like when it's early,
even though it's something you obviously love and everything,
and then even like the one early in the morning, I'm like, the first alarm goes off and like I have time to like either snooze or whatever, and I'm like, it's just like a battle. But then I'll always enjoy it and feel better afterwards. So it's just your stupid brain. Why do our dumb brains just fight with themselves?
They do.
It's like, I know I want to do this. Why can't I just do it?
Oh my gosh. Romans 7 or 8, whatever it is. You know what? All my references are Bible stuff, so I can't be afraid to drop them. I just got to drop them, and it's just how it is. If you don't like that, that's what it is. Okay?
But what is that, Romans 7 or 8? I didn't get the reference.
Where he's saying I don't do what I want to do, and I do the things I don't want to do.
Oh, yeah.
You know, blah, blah, blah.
Paul.
Yeah. And there's a big debate about how to interpret it. Is he talking about his real self? Is he talking about pre-Christian, not after Christian? Blah, blah, blah. Won't get into that. I'll probably edit that out. Anyways, so I'd have some resolutions.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I went and got my haircut. This is my first haircut post-pod. And
post-haircut?
I received a sort of inflammatory message from someone on this podcast.
Like gaslighting? Inflammatory?
They not gaslighting, just provocative.
Oh.
It wasn't a picture of his breasts. Not that kind of provocative either.
Yeah.
It was a picture of a middle finger emoji.
Oh.
And I thought,
After you got your haircut?
yeah. But I thought the person who has manicured my hair from beginning to end, I thought I owed them
The honor.
the honor, even though she didn't want to do it. But also, now that we don't live in Port Orchard anymore, I don't see her.
Yeah.
So I want to go hang out with her.
Right.
And so I went and got my haircut. This is my first haircut post-pod, so I think you're feeling that energy right now.
First pod post haircut.
I got loose.
That's twice now.
I got loose energy. What'd I say?
You keep saying first haircut post pod. You've said it twice.
First pod post haircut. Now I just realized I did say that. Was
You're
I
a new
going
man.
to say that I'm a new man?
You got
I'm
a
new.
Provocative emoji.
When I was talking about that, I was saying I don't really like New Year's resolutions. Like, if I say I can never say I'm starting something. Oh, you and I texted about this a little bit. I can never say I'm starting something Jan 1.
Yeah.
Well, I never have like a resolution for the year, and maybe that would actually be better for me.
Right.
I always have life things I want to change.
Yeah.
But I know I could start it on December 29, or I could start it on January 6th.
But do you have an end date?
No, because it's more about things I want to add to my life. And it's just like, hey, now's the time to add it to my life.
Elon Musk says if you give yourself 30 days to clean your house, it'll take 30 days. As opposed to if you give yourself
totally totes
3 hours to clean your house, it'll take
totes
3
my
hours.
goats.
And it applies to all plans and goals.
I mean, build a Tesla, with good quality, and then come tell me how to live my life. And did you see the guy who blew up his Tesla because his repairs cost so much?
Yeah, I've seen things like that.
Yeah. But anyways, but if I start something January 1, it's like it's a only 2022 thing, and I give myself permission to end it.
Yeah. It makes it easier to stop, especially if you're like, do mess up your resolution. It's easier to be like, well, messed up already for January 2020.
Start next year.
2022. On to next year.
Yeah.
Maybe next year.
But if I start it not on January 1st and something
January 2nd.
Exactly. Even January 2nd. Then it's like a life thing, and then I might feel guilty enough to keep going. But actually, so yeah, one of the things about music, this is sort of apropos of nothing, but it kind of goes into maybe what you were saying a little bit. And I had a Barnes & Noble gift card, and I got this book. I mean, I didn't really know anything about it besides it's written by Jeff Tweedy. You know him?
Nope.
It's like he's like a singer-songwriter guy, like kind of Americana sort of. He's known for being a songwriter, basically. You probably heard some of his songs.
Probably.
And anyways, just known as a creative songwriter kind of guy. And he wrote this book called
from the band Wilco.
Yeah, Wilco. And so he wrote this book called How to Write One Song. And I kind of like it. Well, his writing style is cool. It's a tiny little book. His writing style is simple and easy to read. And he focuses a lot. Yeah, he says basically like, you can write. I'm not going to teach you how to write a bunch of songs. He's like, hey, let's just write a song. And it's a lot about like, I'm just a couple chapters in, but it's a lot about like finding a space for creativity in your life, basically. And we talked about that on the podcast actually a long time ago. And I asked you if you had a creative outlet in your life. And
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. I don't right now, besides this.
Yeah. And there was this kind of interesting story that hopefully I can find, but my hand is freaking frozen.
By the way,
it's
if you
hurting
Google
so bad.
Jeff Tweedy right now, as of yesterday, he's not doing good in the news.
Oh, what?
They scheduled a huge.
Please don't be child porn. Please don't be child porn.
They scheduled a huge festival in Hotel Riviera Maya, Mexico or whatever, and it was like $1,700 tickets for this festival, and it just is supposed to be in a couple weeks, and it got rescheduled, and they're not giving out refunds as of yet because it's just rescheduled.
So why is that bad for him?
Because people are wanting their refunds.
They're upset.
Yeah.
He probably doesn't have anything to do with that.
Right.
Okay. This was interesting. Basically, his dad is older. He's not like a creative person, but he said between 45 and 55 were the most productive years of his life. That's what his dad said as he was getting older. I think he died.
Rip.
He worked for the railroad for his entire career, doing electronics and things. And he's older, so this must, I mean, who knows what he was doing. But I just thought this story was interesting, and not that I will always read stuff on the podcast, but I just thought it was interesting. Interesting little story. I've always wondered if it meant something else. It's really interesting how you recognize genetics and see yourself in your relatives and your family as you grow older. My father did have the impulse to sit down and write poetry. He was just like a railroad guy. But he would write poetry. He would go to the basement from time to time when he was upset about something or when he was mad. He'd sit down and write a poem and then come upstairs half drunk and read a simplistic, heavy rhyming, but not entirely artless poem about Alton and Southern Railway or our neighbor who died or something else that he was stewing about. We didn't have books in our house. We hardly had any high-minded notions about who we were as a family. For all I know, book reading might have been akin to putting on airs. Dad was a high school dropout. My mother was a high school dropout, but I think they were both brilliant. I mean, really smart. At some point, my dad must have realized that there were things he needed to say that didn't mean as much or sound right without some rhyming. A poem. I bet you I could write one of those. He probably wrote them at work in his head. And what's more curious, and I thought this was the good part. What's more curious is how he gave himself permission to do it. I think a lot of people write poems in their heads but don't give themselves permission to write them down or share them. I'm sure beer provided some confidence, some internal urging and support that led to the late evening recitals. But when he first sat down to write, it was always straight after work. He was sober as a judge, writing a wave of pure inspiration. But anyways, he talks a lot about like giving yourself permission because the book is written to like, he's like, even if you don't know anything about music or anything, he's big on just like creativity.
Getting rid of the like inhibitions you have.
Yeah, exactly. And actually the thing about just writing a random poem is that kind of connected with me because that's how I feel like my creative thing kind of comes in spurts.
Yeah.
Like that, where I'll want to do something creative and it'll take up all my energy for a while and then it'll just go on the back burner for 4 months or something like that. And then I'll have a spurt of it again. But then he talks about this like inspiration is basically a myth and like getting into or like the sort of magical whatever of songwriting. He's like basically at some point you just have to, especially if you're making it your life, you just have to do it.
Yeah.
And anyway, a lot of the things he says in there are really good, but I don't know.
That sounds good.
And I just thought that story was kind of interesting. There's just like a railroad worker dad just coming home and just being like, I'm going to go write a poem for no reason.
Yeah.
It's almost like comical, but
Yeah, it's
it's
interesting.
kind of cool.
It's kind of like when I sit down and force myself to write the jokes. I feel like that's what I thought of when you read that.
Yeah.
For like forcing your mind into that state.
Or forcing myself to be creative on this podcast.
Yeah. It's good.
Okay, see there? I talked a little bit serious. Brought it all. We
Yes.
wrapped it all together. We had the train. We had the old man.
Mm-hmm.
We had the creativity. We had this podcast.
The Alton Southern Railroad out beside Springfield. No, St. Louis,
Jeff Tweedy, we brought the music into it.
Missouri.
I'm sure you know Wilco, but
Yeah. Where you get your bulk goods.
where you get your horse supplies. Would you like to wrap this podcast up?
Come on, at you with the.
Okay. Just say the normal things like share it, rate it, blah, blah, blah.
Right,
and
right.
then wrap us up with a poem
Okay.
that you have to rhyme, a certain kind of rhyme.
I have to make up the poem,
Yeah, just,
or I can just recite a poem.
no, you have to make up a poem. It could just be 4 lines.
Give me a subject.
Anything we talked about, anything on Earth, planet Earth.
No, you have to wrap it. Give me a subject.
The Earth being a round ball that we live on, dirt and water.
Okay. Thanks for listening, everybody. It's the Bad Brothers Podcast. And just make sure to like and subscribe. Rate us on whatever platform you listen to. Spotify, Apple, YouTube. We appreciate it. Remember to engage. Tell us your favorite parts of the podcast. And as we're all just sitting here on this ball of dirt that's hurtling through space, sometimes we're just wondering if we're even going to leave a trace on this huge basketball of matter. But does it really matter?
You're just, ooh.